Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons. Today I'm going to talk about the episode The Minstrel. If you are enjoying these, you know the routine. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you'd like to know when I post a new one. The Minstrel was an early episode of the Waltons, while Mary Ellen is still very much struggling with her rebellious period, not wanting to do the traditional things, not wanting to follow the path that was set out as she saw it for women at that point in time. She doesn't want to be like her mother, she says, and in a somewhat hurtful way. She doesn't mean to be, and she even says she doesn't mean to be, but Olivia's hurt when she says that she sees her mom's life and that's not what she wants, despite the fact that she can tell how much her mom loves her father and loves that life. But Mary Ellen, at this point in her life, very much yearns to travel and see the world, sort of like John Boy does, but somehow it's more accepted that a young man might go out and see the world, whereas a young girl, there weren't so many options open for young women. So in this particular case, she's feeling very restless and really fighting with her own emotions and the direction that she can go and feeling the restrictions of her life. And then along comes this young traveling minstrel, Jamie, played by Peter Hooten, who was just wonderful and went on to do some really wonderful work in other shows, including Doctor Strange. Some of you may have seen him in that. But this minstrel, Jamie, comes along and represents everything that Mary Ellen thinks she wants in her life. To live footloose and fancy-free, travel all over, have no obligations to anyone, just to yourself, to do what you want. And that looks very appealing to Mary Ellen, as things often do to us when we're young. What we think we want, we have no sense of the real reality of. And that's something that Mary Ellen learns during the course of this episode. I think it was an important lesson for the character and a nice message about youth and about growing up and about those decision points in our lives and the things we think we want relative to the reality of what that means. In specific points, very early on, when Mary Ellen first literally crashes into Jamie, at this moment, as I watched it, I was aware that it would have been a little tricky to shoot that sort of thing and to execute it because I'm running. I know that when I come around this corner, Peter's going to be there and I need to bump into him, but in such a way that I don't hurt myself, I don't hurt him. So to do something like that and make it look real, but not cause any actual damage, is a bit of a challenge. I can see it and look at it and know as I can see myself turn my shoulder in to protect both of us and take it on my shoulder. I can see myself doing that, but it goes by pretty quickly. So if you weren't looking for it, I don't know that you noticed it. So hopefully it didn't look planned or staged to you when you watched it. Some standout moments for me in this episode. Going to see Maude and having her sing the songs that she remembers from her youth and Jamie taking them down. I had forgotten about going and doing that scene with Maude Gormley. She had such joy doing that. And Marie Earle, who played Maude Gormley, just embodied Maude so beautifully and was such personality. She was such a great character. It was something that the casting and the producers did so beautifully during the course of the series, was bring in these unique characters that had such personality, and the actors they brought in gave them such uniqueness that no two characters were really alike, and yet they brought so many different dynamics to the show. So I loved that. So a lovely little cameo there for Marie Earle. All of the picking of the apples, the orchard, that was done at a place called Yucaipa in California. It's about maybe 90 minutes or so to the east of the Burbank studios where we filmed, Warner Brothers. And we were out there for at least a day. I don't know if it was more than one day on location, but there were a number of scenes there with the family picking the apples and things like that. So we would have been out there for some time to get all of that. I don't remember. We probably shot summer to early fall. It looks like they're actually picking apples off the trees. I think they probably were. I'm not positive that somebody had. I'm hoping somebody didn't have to go in there and put apples on all those trees. That would have been a lot of work. So they probably found a point where there were trees that they could pick. Somebody got a lot of apple picking for free, potentially. Interesting thing with these ladders that we used in picking the apples, because early in the episode, John Boy leans out too far and the ladder's supposed to fall, and he falls and hurts himself, breaks his wrist or something. And yet later on in this scene where I'm picking apples and I lean a little far, there's just this instant where that ladder starts to shift, and I can tell that I am then trying to balance this ladder and not have it fall over, figure out how to safely get through till the camera calls cut, and then find a way to safely get off this ladder. So clearly these ladders were precarious. They weren't all that stable up against those trees, but nobody got hurt for real. So that's the good news. But it was always fun to be out on location. So I did notice that in one particular scene, because of where we were and the lighting and the sun, I noticed there's a lot more red highlights showing in Michael's hair. And I found myself caught by that and thinking, oh, interesting. Because of course in The Homecoming, Patricia Neal did not have red hair. And they tried to, they gave Andrew Duggan red hair, saying that all the redheaded children came from our father. And in this case, I think they did try to highlight the red in Olivia's hair to sort of show where the red came from in the children, but they let most of us go more towards our natural color, and I have virtually no natural red in my hair. I've been asked about the sketch that Jamie did of Mary Ellen and whether I kept that. I did not. It would have been done for the episode, somehow coordinated through the prop department, and afterwards it would have gone back into the prop department in case we ever needed to do any reshoots or anything like that. And beyond that, I have no idea where it ultimately would have ended up. I remember in the shooting of the episode being a little embarrassed by it as he hands it to me, because Mary Ellen says something like, "Oh, really? Wow, you made me look so pretty." And I remember thinking at the time, I don't think I look so pretty. So whatever reaction the camera caught on me, I think was that combination of playing towards Mary Ellen being a bit flattered, but also feeling a bit embarrassed. So there's a little bit of all of that in there, which probably adds some nice depth to the reaction in that moment, but something that perhaps an audience wouldn't fully get what was behind that. So now you know what was behind that. I liked that Mary Ellen gets advice from John Boy again, very much like in The Homecoming, when they had scenes where she asked him questions about growing up and about kissing a girl and things like this. So this was sort of an extension of that, I felt, with her going to him for advice. I love this piece where I'm just playing with the burro's ears. That would have been just something I was doing, I imagine. Liking horses and animals. I expect some of that was just me doing that because the burro was there and I was playing with it. So it's kind of a sweet sort of instinctive moment there. I think it was very interesting at the end of the episode that the rest of the kids decide to pool some of their money to let Mary Ellen go to DC. I don't know that I totally agree with that. I mean, I understand she was going through a difficult period, and I can see the side of the family feeling like they wanted to support her and allow her to live a piece of that dream for herself. But I don't know that she earned it. I do like that she apologized to everybody and recognized that she had caused a lot of problems for the family and owned up to that. So from that standpoint, it was a growing experience for her. So as to whether she earned that trip, I don't know. I'll leave that to you. And there you are with this segment of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons, the Minstrel episode. I hope that you will join me again next time. And until then, thanks for watching.